Greetings, boils and ghouls, goblins and ghosts. You're tuning into To Ghoul for School, the podcast, a death-style podcast for the morbidly inclined. Class is in session. I'm your ghoulish hostess, Jocelyn Wen, aka Glamour Ghoul Beauty School. I'm an actress, I have my BA in psychology, and I'm a purveyor of all things dark and spooky. So, some tips on being a goth in the summer. I will speak from the perspective of someone who wears women's clothing. This may or may not be helpful to people who don't. I really like just wearing skirts. I do a lot of that, and it's very comfortable. And I'm living in LA, very hot and dry and hot. And I'm in the valley, which is the hottest in LA. It's like desert. And then you can do, like, if you want a long sleeve look, you can find like kind of like fishnet or mesh. I find that this can still feel hot, especially living where I do, like I mentioned. And I also worry about getting a fishnet tan, so I kind of shy away from this. I find I do have a bunch of like fishnet tops and stuff, but I generally don't wear them a lot in the summer for these reasons. If I do, and if it's not like too hot of a day, I will make sure to put sunscreen on. Thing is, are you going to reapply it when you're out and about? No, not happening. Best way to avoid fishnet tan is to not wear fishnet blouse or top or, long sleeves. Also, I'm just going to be real, and especially if you're somewhere that gets really hot, like in Los Angeles, I just find I'm much less miserable if my armpits can breathe. So again, like kind of flouncy, loose-fitting tops, tank tops are nice. Just make sure you wear your sunscreen, bring a parasol, or wear a large hat, or just like wear a shawl over your shoulders is another great way to still have kind of like a gothy, witchy look. Also, I like to do on the front of like having long sleeves, but loose fitting and not feeling like you're suffocating your armpits. I'll wear like a cute, like just button up black blouse that's looser fitting. And so when I was talking about skirts, I wanted to add they're longer skirts I tend to wear. My friend might even say I look like some sort of pirate wench. But yeah, I like them because, they're flowy, or if you find a flowy one, I go for flowier ones in black and more coverage while keeping cooler. I try to cover up as much as possible without suffering unduly because of the heat. It's the summertime Gothness. As much as I enjoy like spending time with friends at the beach, I don't love being in the sun for very long, for multiple reasons. UV rays, preventing cancer and premature wrinkles. And, I like to look as dead as possible. And, looking pale is better for that. So my husband and I actually got like a little pop-up sun shelter. Get it off Amazon. I can link it. It's not black. That was my only peeve over it, but it does what I need it to do. So I'm glad we have it for the times we go to the beach. Or like if you could find like a cute umbrella, one of those large umbrellas, but I have yet to find one really. And they're not as encompassing as the shelter is. And to reiterate this, really, if, it's not too awkward to use a parasol, use it. When we went to Cruel World, that was such a lifesaver. Like, oh my goodness. There was a couple of times, and don't get me wrong, I was hot, but there was a couple of times like I would take my parasol down just to see what the difference was, and it was like burning, scorching heat. And this was like in May. So I was so grateful that I brought one and had one that fit their size dimensions. That's the other thing. If you go to a festival or anything like that, make sure you check and see what their restrictions are size wise. Parasols are good. Umbrellas are bigger and they won't allow those likely. We would see some people and my husband was like kind of like chuckling to himself about some of the people wearing black hats, but a lot of them, like most of them, were not like kind of more of the straw or wicker hats. Again, my like gardening-esque hat, it's still fairly cute. It's like a beach hat, basically. It's a beach hat. Is really great. That's what I walk my dog in. Those are awesome as well. But wearing like the super cool looking felt hats that like are the witchy vibe hats, yeah, you're getting the sun coverage, but oh my God, they must have been dying. I've made that mistake once, and I don't even think it was that hot, but it's kind of miserable having like that like thick like felty woolness like on your, yeah, I was like, yeah, that must be miserable. If you don't anticipate how hot it's going to be. And again, because it's like it was spring, so you're like, oh, the weather's nice. It was pretty scorching when there's like no coverage and you're at an outdoor like festival. You want to goth, but you also want to kind of live your life, but in a spooky way. So just a few tips. And for footwear, when I'm walking my dog, I just wear some cute black tennis shoes, sneakers. For Cruel World or like a festival, I would love to wear like my cool boots that are kind of like combat boots that are more fitted, super tight on the legs. And I'm glad I didn't. I instead opted for some black cowboy boots. So plain black ones are great. You can also get like Miss Heel has these really awesome spiderweb cowboy boots. And that's what I wore. And I got so many compliments on them. And I kind of have been digging the like goth cowboy cowgirl look. And it's actually very practical for the heat. Kind of doing more of a aesthetic like that, but goth. Yeah, doing like the combat boot, like tight combat boot look is just very uncomfortable when it's hot. I'm sure you can imagine why. I mean, tight leather-iness or pleather or whatever material is not fun when you're already hot and sweaty. It just gets worse. Much worse from there, and it doesn't breathe well. I mean, other thing I would do is like kind of the combat boot look, but like kind of make them not fitted, like loosely tie them and kind of have it be like sloppy punk look. Or like I have some tall platformy goth boots that don't go up super high and they're not super like fitted on the ankle. They're like my favorite, not daily. I don't wear them daily, but like if I'm going to hang out with some friends and stuff, I'll wear those, and they're really comfortable and they look super goth. And the other thing I'll do for footwear, if I wear open-toed shoes, just like any cute black sandals, really, I have what I call my Gothen stocks. They're super studded out, Steve Madden like sandals that look like kind of Birkenstocks, but with the studs. Got them a few years ago, so I don't know if they still make them, but I love them. I got like 3 pairs because they're my favorite. I hope the last ones I'm on last a while. We'll see. But yeah, I'll just like slather on sunscreen because I abhor tan lines, and I especially don't want sandal tan lines on my feet. A lot of reasons why I stay out of the sun and why I wear sunscreen. Or to qualify that, I hate tan lines on myself. I do not like them on myself. Yeah, I don't usually care if other people have them. And I guess I shouldn't care because I guess other people don't care if I have them. But if they're on me and I see them, it will bother me. So I do it for me. Oh, also big one, huge for gothing in the summer with longer hair is to get that off your neck. So I just, sometimes I'll do a ponytail, getting it off your neck. I've found that the best way to do that for me really is like a high, messy bun And I don't know if I'll be able to show this very easily with the headphones on. So yeah, just, if you do your general messy bun, the biggest thing is for me, it starts to kind of look sad after a while, and it kind of like starts slipping down, especially if you use these coily things, which I really like because they don't leave a dent in your hair, and they also snag a little less, and and they like break your hair less. So honestly, you could take sorry if it's this noisy, any like hair clip. I have like this spiderweb one that I love, from, I believe this is Creepsville, 666. So yeah, got my messy bun, and I'll just like take it to keep it from getting sad, as I call it, and I'll put it like right here, in the back, and it gives it volume. It keeps it from falling, so I don't have to redo my hair like 50 times while I'm out, because that will happen otherwise. Yeah, it's big and eccentric, so it works with Gothness. It's hard to do if you're wearing a hat, though. So I'll usually just wear it in a low ponytail when I have like my gardening looking hat on when I'm walking my dog. And honestly, this goes for any time of year, but mostly on the day-to-day, honestly. I mean, all my clothes are black, so I just wear whatever black joggers, and like if it's colder months, I'll wear a t-shirt, and if it's hotter months, I'll just wear like a long line sports bra, basically, with like, honestly, I kind of look like a older woman who's really into gardening and probably about to go garden, because I'll just wear like a hiking button-up shirt, and yeah, it's comfortable, it's loose fitting again, and it fulfills all my requirements, which it's black. Sometimes I'm like, I definitely do dress cuter than this. I saw somebody on like Instagram was like, when you see a fellow goth or creature of the night and you look like a homeless person, and you're like, no, I swear I'm cool, but I don't know. I'm like, whatever. And yeah, most days I'm just, if I go outside, I'm walking my dog. I'm just, trying to make sure she's happy and I'm as comfortable as can be, so that I can take her on a long enough walk, and make sure she's had her outside time. Since we live in an apartment, we don't have a yard. Those are my priorities. So I guess final thing is just do what's practical. Trial and error is pretty much how I've come to these realizations. They may or may not work for you. And I'm slowly incorporating some more white into my goth attire. I still just, I like black, and for several reasons. One of the biggest is probably because I will inevitably spill something on it or smudge it. So yeah, that's where I have a hard time with white. Black is just so much more forgiving in a lot of ways, and I just love it. It just feels right. Don't melt out there. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Too Cool for School, the podcast. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for sitting for a spell. Stay spooky, boils and ghouls, goblins and ghosts. Till next time. Bleh. That was